Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome back once again to another little review of a fantastic FSX product. So today we are going to be reviewing the recent addition to the FSX stables from RAZBAM. So we are looking today at the RAZBAM's latest release, the Metro 3 for FSX and P3D. First of all, I just want to give a quick shout out. Thank you very much to the guys over at PCAviator.com.au for the review copy of this one. I'll get onto it in a moment, but this aircraft has a particular place in my heart for this one, but we'll get onto that in just a moment. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to those guys. They are there all the time online for all your flight simulator needs, folks, so definitely head over there. You get some great deals and great specials and great customer support there all the time. Anyway, alright, moving on. So, yes, here we have it, the beautiful, amazing Metro 3. Also known as the Flying Pencil. No, it is not done by Dornier, but yes, can be known as a Flying Pencil. And I think from this external model, you can probably figure out why she's had that description over the years. So there you go. So yes, as always folks, let's get our review started by first of all having a look over the external textures, external modelling. Now look, as you can see, this is actually the first RAZBAM product I've ever actually had a chance to play with, and I'm very impressed. The texture detailing here is actually pretty amazing. Attention to detail is pretty awesome. Now, one of the reasons why I'm flying this particular colour scheme, folks, and this gets back to why I have a bit of a soft spot for this particular aircraft, is the fact that I have actually flown in this aircraft. So a lot of the stuff that I've reviewed, in fact, pretty much everything I've ever reviewed, has sort of been, yeah, it's how it feels. Does it feel right? That kind of stuff. This aeroplane, I have actually flown it. I have actually been inside this aeroplane. I have flown it. I flew in the right-hand seat. Didn't have a beard on at the time, but yes, I have actually flown this aircraft. So this one's quite a bit of nostalgia for me coming down this one, and the colour scheme that it was in when I flew in it was the predecessor to Toll Aviation when it was still Jetcraft Aviation. But yeah, very a lot of memories in this one. Anyway, enough going down memory lane. So, as you can see, this texture modelling is pretty damn amazing. So we've got some beautiful reflections going on through here. The attention to detail is pretty awesome as well. So we've got, for rivet counters, all your rivets and panel lines are there. For the rest of us who just enjoy it, it is just visually quite spectacular. The specular is quite nicely done as well. So for the metallic skin of the aircraft, so I am very impressed. Now, yes. Also, one of the first things that you'll notice about this aircraft when you get it is the Metro is a very efficient converter of Jet A1 into noise. And as I said, from personal experience, this is absolutely correct. It really is. Like, wow, these things are so noisy, it's not funny. Anyway, so yes, straight up, props to RAZBAM for that. It does look incredible externally, and sound-wise, I think it was Skunk Audio Works did the audio for this, and I tell you what, they are to be highly commended for this. It is absolutely dead on. They're spot on for the Garrett turboprops. Always quite love the Garretts with always quite the design with the inverted intake, and the intake on the top instead of the bottom. But yeah, it's just, they're so noisy, so noisy. Anyway, all right. So now that we've drilled a little bit over the external modelling, we're going to jump back into the cockpit here. All right. So, very good, this one. Now, as I said, the reason why I've taken it for a fly up for when I've actually flown in this aircraft in the right-hand seat, my dad flew these aircraft on a very regular basis, doing night freight in Australia. So Yes, so I got his advice for this one, and I got him to partake of the aircraft and give his sort of, actual industry experience and experience in the left-hand seat for this one and see what he thought. And everything was and is exactly where it should be. Which, because he had never been exposed to these simulators, he was quite impressed with. A lot of the cool stuff is actually modeled quite well as well. Now, for those who are used to, like, really awesome, fancy GPSs, yeah, guess what? This over here, this is your GPS. Oh, my track IR is going to allow me to click the button. There we are. This is your GPS. Not much to it. There really isn't. You can load your flight plan, you can do your approaches and just like waypoints and stuff like that, but yeah, none of this, beautiful moving map stuff. Now, yeah, not gonna happen for you. Really not gonna happen for you. Now, this is also modeled correctly. As I said, not all of the units, the aircraft have GPS. It's not a standard edition. In fact, often if it was either one of these little units or otherwise it was simply the handheld one just mounted on the dash up there. So, otherwise you do have the weather radar, because these aircraft did operate quite a lot on the, as I said, as sort of short haul passenger routes, but also a lot of night freight stuff. So, you do have your weather radar, and it's got its various different modes which are very well modelled, going through your test ones and actually showing your actual weather radar there, so you can sort of fiddle with the range and all that kind of fun stuff as well. So yes, very accurate. It has the functionality of the real thing, so very impressive with that one. Interestingly enough, folks, by default the Metros did not come with an autopilot installed. They were always sort of added on afterwards. So and this is reflected in the simulation version of this one. It doesn't have your normal sort of traditional autopilot. What it does is it has the just an altitude and a heading hold, so you can't sort of just put it and hope for the best. You actually have to do stuff, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool. Anyway, alright, so as you can see, the texturing and the modelling in the cockpit here is pretty damn incredible. Everything is pretty much clickable. Really nice. So you can go through, you've got multiple position rocker switches, you start off, your feathering down here as well, all sort of set up. So yeah, this is a very cool little setup that we've got going here, and thought I got rid of that. Don't mind me, folks. So yes, it's all very accurately, very beautifully modelled. Everything's sort of where it should be, which is quite nice to see. Alright, now, shift pop-up wise. Now, it is a full VC, none of your sort of 2D panels. What you do have available in terms of your shift pop-ups is, this is probably the coolest one here. So what this one does is that this one actually is your weight balance calculation sort of form. So it's sort of done pre-flight, allows you to actually go through and update and sort of change your cargo and stuff like that. When you choose one of the passenger ones rather than the expediter freight ones, this shows the 19 seats. They're available for your passengers, and you just sort of click in the seat when you want to add them in. So we're going to go, ooh, don't want to be too tail heavy, we might just unload some of the cargo out of the back there. And what's cool as well is that it has a little sort of animated thing that as you take out the cargo, you actually see the fill bar go down, which is kind of cool. So we're going to leave with 2 seats here, just imagining that I'm doing, I'm sitting in this one during the check ride as we did, so. There we go. Okay. Alright. This one also allows you to refuel your engines and refuel your engine fire extinguishers, open and close your doors and stuff like that, which is nifty little thing if you sort of getting your shifty keys mixed up and stuff like that. So this one here also gives you little tips and stuff like that with your weight management envelope and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Alright. Other than that, folks, you just got a autopilot. So this shift pop-up is added in just for our convenience in simulator-wise, as it's not really there in the real thing, but yeah, gives you a nice little simulation advantage. There you go. And then you got your HSIs sort of set up as your shift 4 and 5 pop-up. So there you go. Alrighty, so I think what we might do is we might take this beautiful aircraft up for a quick spin. We'll do a quick circuit around. Now, by the way, folks, the airfield we're currently at today is Yankee Bravo Alpha Foxtrot, so another airport quite close to me. So this is Archerfield Airport in Brisbane. Again, the airport that I actually took off from and did the circuit around, so we're pretty much just going to repeat that today. So. And see if it matches up with my memories. As I said, the deafening noise of these Garrett turboprops has definitely matched up so far, so that's definitely quite cool. Alright, now, a couple of things to sort of remember for your pre-flight. Now, that little indicator up here is sort of essentially a stall sort of avoiding indicator as well. Now, what you need to do is this aircraft has a stall avoidance system. Now, this one was sort of added in later in the piece, not from the initial sort of pre-production ones. Now the stall avoidance systems lives down here, so we have to click this one up to activate it. Now we should up here having a little light up here saying Alright, so we've got our SAS on. We're going to switch over our trim select over to the pilot, otherwise if you're sitting in the middle there, it's not going to do anybody any good. Alright. Run through. There we go. Alright, so we've got our stall avoidance system set up, we've got our lights on. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to bring our propeller up here. We're going to bring our power up. Alright. Bring the RPMs up to the top there. There we go. Alright. Now, one of the cool things to avoid on takeoff is with these turboprops, it has a fuel bypass system. So that if you're putting too much power and RPMs into the engine, it will sort of cut out. Now it's shown up by a little blue light that will appear just above here in the torque indicator. So the aim of the game is to make sure you don't have any blue lights appear while you're trying to do your takeoff. So there you go. Alright, let's do it. Now we've got our flaps down one notch. We'll make sure everything's there. Alrighty, fuel flow is nice and even. Flaps down a quarter for takeoff. Alright. I think we are just about ready to go. Alright. Just ourselves settled in nicely. Alright. So we've got our brakes on. Push the power forward. And let's see how we go. Building the RPMs. Brakes off and let's go. Now just keeping an eye on the old engine temps, make sure it doesn't go into the red. No blues yet, which is always good. Alright, 103 for our rotate. Lift off, there we go. Very, very smooth. Very, very smooth. Oh, this is absolutely delightful. So now a bit of a mixed thought with pilots as we tuck our flaps in as we sort of fly out of some of this Brisbane countryside. Some of the pilots like it, some don't. A lot of them don't. Unless it's their first turboprop. If it's their first turboprop, then generally they thoroughly enjoy it, and it's sort of like one of their favourites. So. Always good, but yeah, it's it is quite a ubiquitous aircraft in regional routes around the US and indeed around Australia as well, and it has quite a bit of a global following. So now a bit of its history as we make a slow sort of left hand turn to go into the circuit there. Um, so the aircraft was originally the idea of a single guy. He's a guy by the name of Ed Swearingen. Swearingen. Now Ed Swearingen had the idea that he could marry the Queen Air and the Beechcraft Twin Bonanza. And if you sort of mush them together, what would you get? And he imagined the idea of a sort of an executive sort of aircraft, which would allow him to, sell it on to sort of high-flying executives and be able to have sort of fun, a bit of a corporate runabout kind of aircraft. No, that was sort of his idea and his dream, and that produced a sort of took the wet wing out of the Queen Air and sort of combined it with the engines of the Bonanza and some of the tail sections, and he came up with the Excalibur. And Excalibur sort of did a little bit, but not too much. Then after a while, he sort of thought, okay, well maybe if we throw a pressurized cabin and cockpit on this, what can we do? And that's pretty much where what was called the Merlin was born. So the Merlin was the sort of predecessor to the Metro. Now the Merlin sort of was initially was initially sort of began pitched sort of as a corporate sort of travel, as a sort of executive type aircraft. And what it would do is that it would enable sort of high speed, low passengers, sort of no more than about sort of 8 to 10 passengers on your sort of corporate travel routes and stuff like that. So it was sort of pitched, and it was an interesting idea. But well, with the pressurization of it, and with the sort of interest from regional airlines about something that was efficient and could carry a number of passengers around, it was designed to carry the Merlin was updated to carry 22 passengers and marketed as a small regional turboprop and sort of regional feeder airline aircraft. FAA certifications, though, worked slightly against him, and would actually then sort of mandate that you could have you could only have you couldn't have 22 passengers unless you had a flight attendant on board, but you could have 19 passengers and not have a flight attendant. So it was redesigned slightly and was then marketed as a 19 seat passenger aircraft, suitable for all your short haul needs. We're going to sort of turn on our base leg to come back into 28 right. So yeah, it was marketed as sort of the sort of Metro as a commuter or liner as the Merlin. Then as engine options sort of changed and as various other options became available, it would move on to becoming eventually. Swearingen came with some ideas of some improvements and things he could do. But it was about that time that he hit quite a few financial difficulties, and so was actually unable to proceed with a lot of those options. And then along came Fairchild. Now Fairchild had been making the wings and some components for the Merlin for a while, and they basically sort of made an offer on the company and essentially bought a 90% stake in it to actually sort of go, well, you know what, we're already making the parts anyway, so we might as well get a controlling stake. This seems to be quite successful. Let's go for it. So that's what they did. Now, what that meant was that they could actually then go into production, and he got the money to actually do the research and get everything together for the further development, which is what became the Metro. So Metro 2 was sort of the Metro 2 and the Metro 3, very, very popular aircraft. They evolved and became very popular on various regional routes to actually enable the short haul regional routes, and also became very popular as cargo aircraft, sort of doing night freight. Now in the cargo variants were sort of nicknamed the Expediters, and they would actually be able to operate with just one pilot, so just one crew was sort of the option that they were given for that one. So I'm just going to turn on our final here. I think think I got this right. Probably should have done this with some runway lights, but anyway. Yeah, so we're covered in here. Yeah, so that was that, and that's since the Metro was born. Now, the Metro 3, which is modelled in this beautiful sim, is the penultimate version of the Metro. It was later on after it came the Metro 23, expedited 23 for the freight version. Now, this allowed for had upgrade engines, improved avionics, and also allowed for sort of higher max takeoff weights as well. Now, one of the big things that is also very well modelled in this is the visibility sucks. It's horrible, especially on landing. It is very difficult to see out of stuff. But anyway, all right. But we shall do this. All right. Okay. Come here. I think I might be coming in a bit hot here. Got a GPWS warning me about the sink rate. There we go. Alright. Yeah. Come on. Alright, come on. Drift it off a little bit. There we go, that's better. Sink rate. I think I'm going to abort this and carry on, if I think. Alright. Power back on.
Don't sink.
Yep, gonna way too high on that approach. Alright. Oh, and there's the blue lights coming on, so yeah, you avoid those as much as you can with the engine temps, so. Anyway, okay. So as we rejoin the circuit, we'll made a bit of a fool of myself, but that's okay. So anyway, folks, yeah, so yeah, the penultimate version is what this one is. The final version was the Metro 23 and the Expeditor 23. So they served improved avionics, an increase in max takeoff weights, and a few other improvements. So very similar, like or identical externally, just with a few minor internal modifications. So this aircraft, as I said, is pretty amazing. It's had quite a checkered history as well. As I said, like some pilots love them, but most pilots are not their biggest fans. Sadly, they've had quite a few very infamous accidents as well, including Australia's worst civil aviation crash since the 1960s was actually was one of these aircraft, sadly, as well. It was when a small regional airline in northern Queensland lost one of its aircraft, controlled flight into terrain, sadly, killing all on board. Various other ones in America as well, including what I thought was quite a bizarre one as well, where the aircraft was actually on it was at holding at the edge of the runway, and was actually it was run into by another aircraft and sadly killed all on board. So rather sad reflection of that, but otherwise, look, this model of it is, as I said, it's very impressive. It is how I remember it, and as I said, like I do remember this. I have memories of it. I have memories of sitting in the right-hand seat, not the left, but the right-hand seat, and working on the ground around them as well. I do distinctly remember that. I do distinctly remember working on the ground around them, and the sound is very much as I remember them. Very much as I remember it. So, I just want to say, yeah, well done to RAZBAM. You have done an incredible job, and for the first one of your products that I've ever had a chance to play with, I am very impressed. Very impressed. All right, now we're going to turn in again. It's going to turn your base. So, all right, my track I was having a bit of a freak out today, I think. Alright, get our gear coming down. Alright, gear down and locked. Alright. flaps. Alright, there we go. Let's see if we can do this one a bit better, or if my track IR doesn't freak out completely, that would be nice. Alright, okay, here we go. As I said, like, one of the things about the aircraft's Nova is its visibility, and my track IR freaking out is not helping. Alright, here we go. This one's a little better. Alright. I'm just going to crab it in a little bit. Right of center. There we are, and down, and modeled very nicely is the reverse pitch, and oh, so loud with the reverse, so loud, very, very accurately modeled. Alright, and there we go. So folks, as I said, this is the RAZBAM Metro III. So the particular aircraft I've just been testing around today has been the one that's in the toll aviation. So a couple of different models of aircraft are included in this. The main Metro III, of course, is included, the 19-seat passenger variant. Now what is also included as well is this one, which is the freight version, nicknamed the Expediter. A lot of Expediters weren't sort of manufacturers' Expediters, they were just converted from just Metro 3s, which is this particular one here, for example. It literally was just converted from a Metro 3 passenger version straight over into the freighter. Now, you do also have a couple of cool ones in there as well. So a lot of the major operators do have liveries in here, including the US Air Force with their C-26A and B, the C-26B, the Metro 3. But the kind of cool one, which I do quite like as well, is in there. Two aircraft were purchased by the Swedish Air Force. Now one of those was used as a test aircraft for some airborne early warning system tests. So there is a Metro here which has a giant, huge dorsal spine on it. For the giant radar on the backs, which is kind of cool to fly around in. Kind of cool to fly around in that one. So, alright, so as we taxi along here at Archer Field, the final sort of thoughts. Well, final thoughts. For me, this is the first time I'm reviewing something that I have actually flown the real life version of. And for me, when I flew it, a lot of memories. The sound set is so accurate; it is not funny. Like, it is incredible. I absolutely love this. A lot of nostalgia like this one for me here. So, in terms of the actual flight dynamics, very, very nice. If you do not treat her with respect, especially on takeoff, she will kill you. The stall avoidance system is installed for a reason. If you don't treat her with respect, she will come back and kill you. Interesting enough, with the stall avoidance system, a little anecdotal story for everybody. When they were first installed, the only way to calibrate it was to actually put the aircraft into a stall in flight, and the engineer would be sitting in the right-hand seat, and he would actually have the SAS panel open and be fiddling with it and getting all the settings right and making sure everything was as it should be. Pilots hated that. My dad told us this story when he did it, and you would literally lose 5,000 feet easy while doing it. And he's there with he's got the engineer sitting next to him with the panels open and wires everywhere. And yeah, it's not a fun experience. No pilot ever wants to. It's not fun to deliberately put an aircraft in a stall, that's for sure. So, but yes. So overall, folks, this is an incredibly detailed model. As I said, I've never had a chance to use something from RAZBAM before, and if this is the quality, if this is the example quality of their work, wow is all I can say. Just wow. That's really all I have to say. Would I recommend it? If you're interested in turboprops, if you like something, if you like some different twins and stuff like that, then absolutely get it. It is incredible. It really is. I would definitely be highly recommending that you consider this as an option for you. It is very well modeled, very well detailed, very realistic, and you know what? As realistic as we can get with our at-home simulators. So folks, this is available in 3 different versions from RAZBAM. So RAZBAM have released the FSX only version, the P3D standalone version, and a bundle pack which does include both FSX and P3D. So if you do run both of the systems, you can actually get the aircraft into both. So which is a nice, neat little idea. Possibly would have been nice to see it all combined into one version, but it seems to be a theme between other retailers or other simulation companies as well at the moment, where they're releasing alternate FSX, P3D, and then a combined bundle pack. So, do I agree with it? Yeah. Well, the market's doing it, and the market's accepting it, so meh. Anyway. Well folks, look, that's pretty much it. Look, this is available from all your major flight sim retailers. As always, I highly recommend the guys over at PCAviator.com.au, and I'd like to just say thanks again to them for providing the review copy of this wonderful aircraft. It's been an interesting journey for me doing this review today, folks. As I said, it's near the start of the video. This is the first time I've ever actually been able to say, yes, I have actually flown in the front end of an aircraft that I'm actually reviewing in simulator. Admittedly, it was in the right-hand seat, but it was just an incredible. So many memories come flooding back for this one. So. So yeah, that's been my little review of the RAZBAM Metro III by Fairchild Swearingen from the wonderful guys over at RAZBAM Simulations. The terrain that you've seen featured today is Orbx Australia, and also with the OzX add-ons as well. So this is the Archerfield airstrip just outside of Brisbane. So very, very close to me, very, very close to home for me. So. Well folks, thanks very much for watching as always. Hope you've enjoyed this little review of the RAZBAM Metro III. You can always keep in touch with me both here on the channel, and you can also keep in touch with me via the Facebook page and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Well folks, don't forget to like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these videos, and if there's anything you do want to see on the channel, please feel free to drop me a line and we'll see what we can do for you. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies as always, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.